What's up, everybody? Welcome to 256 Garage. So today we're having some trouble with old Blue. You know, it's the 68 F100 that we put the 93 F150 Ford Lightning setup on. Overdrive transmission. Well, it done good the Atlanta trip and back, but now it's wanting to do some crazy things and acts like it's not getting fuel on the left side real good. So we're going to do some checking it out and see what we can figure out. All right. So right here it is. We fixed us up annoyed. We've got us a spark tester. Went to Harbor Freight, picked us up a spark tester, built us annoyed, and we're going to check the injectors. Got us fuel pressure gauge, got us timing light from Harbor Freight, picked it up. So we're going to start with the basics. First, we're going to see if the number one, like you unplug the number one, it don't change a bit. You can actually unplug this whole left side. So first we're going to hook up the Noid and the spark tester and see what we got. Okay, so we got our Noid, we got our Noid hooked up and our spark plug tester. We're going to crank it up and see if the injector's firing like it's supposed to and see if the plug's firing like it's supposed to. Well, the injector's definitely firing. Spark plug's firing. So we definitely got an injector pulse and we got a spark. So next we're going to hook up our fuel pressure and check it. Okay, so we got our gauge hooked up. I'm just going to turn the switch on first. And right there I believe is going to be some of our problem. Just turning the switch on, it should go up a lot more than that, I'd think. Let me cut it off. Back on again. Tries to build up some more. Let me relieve the pressure. Okay, so I've got our vacuum unhooked from the regulator. So now we're gonna crank it up and see what it has running. Said we was. So we're not perfect on the fuel pressure, but we are close to range. So I've got our timing light. We're going to actually set the time next because we do not know what we're on. I've done marked it down there on 10 degrees. I've removed our plug. On these late model Fords, you always got to unplug that before you set the time. So let me hook the timing light up and we'll see what it's on. Okay, so we have our timing light hooked up on number one. Hooked to the positive and negative side of the battery. So let's crank it and see what we can tell. Why charge the battery? more moved up. Hard to find that sweet spot. Okay, see, we're right there on 10 degrees when I can get it flashed and line up. So we're gonna tighten it down there and see what happens. Okay, we got our distributor locked down. See if we can crank it. Charge this battery a little bit, make sure it's good and hot. Okay, so let the battery charge a little while. See how it cranks now. Started a lot better there. Running a little better. I don't know, I'm gonna get the coil back mounted. I'm gonna get the coil back mounted, make sure the distributor's tightened down, get all tools off of it, get everything up, and we'll see if it'll go down the road. Okay, so it seems to be running a little better. We're gonna hook up our top down scanner to it and see if it says anything. Forward, automatic. See if we can read the VIN number. I don't know if it can read it or not. Maybe it can. Hey, I'm gonna say that's it. Confirm. Yep. B series 96 engine other automatic 5.8 gasoline. Confirm. Let's do an auto scan. ECU info. Type PCM. See if we got any codes. PCM key on, engine off. The vehicle must be prepared for a self-test. Instructions: do not activate switch during test. Ensure yes. Establishing communication. Kick the fuel pump on. So it's running it through the test. All right, we're gonna let it run through the test here and we'll see what it finds out. Okay, so we got a throttle position sensor circuit low range, throttle position sensor circuit low input, throttle position sensor inconsistent with mass air sensor, transmission range. Okay, I know we're gonna have a transmission sensor because we took the transmission that was behind this out and put in a glare. Put in just a regular AOD. Thought I might get this glare out, but it ain't working. Let's see here. Let's just see if we can clear these. Engine off. No. Did you text it? Are you sure you want to continue? Yes. So we may end up having to replace our throttle position sensor. Check of all systems not completely since last memory cleared. Clear DTCs. Yes. All right, so that may be some of our problem here. We've actually got this BBK aftermarket throttle body. We may have some problems with our throttle position sensor, so we may need to get another one, and we may have a wire about pulled out there too. So we'll do some checking on that and go from there. Okay, so we got a throttle position sensor code. So this red wire, we want to check the voltage to it. It should have around 5 volts. Well, let me let that thing reset. Well, I don't guess it's gonna reset. Anyway, let me get the wire. Okay, we're at 5.04, so we've got plenty of volts there. So we know we're getting the right volts to our throttle position sensor. So now we need to check it to see if it's, and I know we got a ground, I done checked the ground. Check, make sure you got a ground, check, make sure you're getting 5 volts on the orange wire, and then make sure your read wire is, when you turn the throttle position sensor, that it reads like it's supposed to. So I know we got 5 volts to it. So now I need to get hooked up to check to see if it's got a smooth transition. Okay, so we got a throttle position sensor code. So this red wire, we want to check the voltage to it. It should have around 5 volts. Well, let me let that thing reset. Well, I don't guess it's gonna reset. Anyway, let me get the wire. Okay, we're at 5.04, so we've got plenty of volts there. So we know we're getting the right volts to our throttle position sensor. So now we need to check it to see if it's, and I know we got a ground, I done checked the ground. Check, make sure you got a ground, check, make sure you're getting 5 volts on the orange wire, and then make sure your read wire is, when you turn the throttle position sensor, that it reads like it's supposed to. So I know we got 5 volts to it. So now I need to get hooked up to check to see if it's got a smooth transition. Okay, so I got a reading of 208. I believe that's a little high for starting off on the throttle position sensor. And it's erratic, just sitting there, but we're gonna try to move it and see what, if it moves up slowly. Well, I can't even get a, well, that ain't even now I ain't reading anything. I think I definitely got a bad throttle position sensor. We'll check that first and then go from there. Okay, right here is our old throttle position sensor. I don't know if I can focus on it good enough, but you see the ear right there, and you see how the ear is on the other side, it's chewed off. So that was giving us a little bit of problem for sure. The factory TPS is not long enough, so I have to splice in some wires to make it reach the harness, because that engine come with a factory like truck intake, and we put the GT40 style lightning intake on it. The TPS is in a different location, so we had to extend it, but we got it extended and we fixed to go put it on. So we got the throttle position sensor changed. If you saw, like I showed you there, I had to do some modifying, but anyway, so it got rid of that code, but we're still showing a little lean code. First, we're going to carry it and swap the fuel filter. It's probably the original that come on this fuel line when we pulled it out of the other vehicle. So we're going to carry it up to the shop where we can jack it up and lay it on the concrete and get the fuel filter changed and see what happens there. Okay, everybody, we got the old blue truck running pretty good. We're up under it now trying to change the fuel filter. See, I used the factory 96 setup. It's a little aggravating. Wish I'd done a little bit different, but oh well. But anyway, the other one was in pretty bad shape. I don't know if you can see the ground there. That stain, that's where the muddy looking gas come out of it. So hopefully, like I said, we've got it running pretty good, except it's got a little bubble every now and then. So hopefully that fuel filter being in bad shape, maybe that was that problem. So we're gonna get this put on and then see how she goes from here. Okay, so we got the fuel filter changed and we're driving it down the road. It seemed to run a little better sitting there idling. Seems to be running pretty good down the road right now. Can't really tell it on the video because it only happens every so often too, but feels like there's still a little but I wish I'd have showed the fuel filter when we dumped the old one, when we dumped the stuff out of it, because it was in pretty bad shape. reason it don't like these cold mornings. It takes a little while to adjust to them, so the smoking's kind of went away. Next thing to try is the injectors. I got some 24-pound injectors coming in. From what I understand, they're like a stock for a 460 or something like that. I'm not sure. I've read so many different things on it, it's hard to tell what's what for sure. I know it's got 19-pound injectors in it. So, like I said, with the aluminum heads and the cam and all that, the GT40 style intake, I've read you can go 24 and you don't have to do any tuning. I read you will have to do tuning, but if you go bigger than 24, you definitely will have to do some tuning. So we're gonna go with the 24. Like I said, see here, smoking has totally quit since it's got warmed up. So we're gonna try the injectors and go from there. Okay, so we got the new injectors for the F100. Jameson done got out here and got started yanking the upper intake off. We got some, what are they, 24-pound injectors? I don't know. Yeah. I believe they're 24-pound injectors, factory or 19. We keep getting codes that the right bank and the left bank are lean. And them Edelbrock heads and that trick flow cam, it should need more fuel. So we've read different ways. Plus this GT40 intake, upper and lower spacer. We've read both ways that you can put 24s and be okay with your computer. You can put 24s and you gotta adjust your airflow sensor, yada yada. Well, we know we need more fuel, so we're going bigger injectors, and then we'll find out if we're gonna have to do anything else. So let's get these in. Like I said, we got down to these. He's got the bolts out of the fuel rail. So we're gonna pull these out and get the new ones in. Okay, so we got our old injectors out. Right there they are, and they're in pretty rough shape. A couple, I'd say number 3 and number 4, to me and Jameson, looked like they wasn't even getting fuel through the injectors. It looked old dead gas that was sitting on top of them. I don't know. But we got our new ones here. He's pulling one of them out of the box. Like I said, these are supposed to be 24-pound injectors. Say like coming to 460 and stuff like that from what I was reading. Anyway, we're gonna put them in and see what happens, because if this bad boy was only running on like 4 or 5 cylinders, it'll be a beast if we get it running on all 8. Okay, so we got the injectors in it. We've crunk it up, let it sit here and run a minute. Seems to be running pretty smooth right there, but like I said, we just haven't crunk it. We're gonna let it sit here and run a minute, and then we'll go from there. What do you think? Not a bad job putting the injectors in them, is it? Okay, so we think we got Old Blue running pretty good. We're gonna take it on a little road trip now. Go from the house to Scottsboro. Just stopped in Collinsville there and put 12 bucks worth of gas. Can't remember how many gallon that was, but anyway, filled it up to a certain spot there, and we're gonna drive it several miles and see how it does, and then stop back at the gas station and fill it up again and check our fuel mileage. So I hope we got this thing straightened out. Let's see how it does. We've done good so far. We're running about 65 right now. Seems to be good and smooth. It's not pop. Didn't do any smoking. Hope for the best. We'll make sure we get it just excuse me. We're gonna make sure we get it same spot we was on the other one. Right now we're about 4 gallons. Tell by that thing. We'll round it off at a good $1. Well, maybe we won't. Alright, right there, $17, 5.95 gallons for about 75 miles. We'll do the math. Do the math, 73.4 miles at 5.95 gallons, about 12.33 miles a gallon. It ain't too bad. Sitting
here talking to us 12 miles a gallon. Could be worse. Old four-wheel drive gets 10.
It's running a whole lot better. It's sounding a whole lot better. So we're gonna call the win finally. 256 Garage out.